You're listening to the SEO Mindset Podcast. Now, we are not your typical how to do SEO podcast. No, we are not. With the help of our guests, we cover those all-important topics around career development, personal growth, and mental health for those working in the SEO industry. You got to be working on your own internal algorithm, like what we did there. So, if you like the sound of our podcast and you think this is a bit of me, shall we crack on with this week's episode?
April is Stress Awareness Month, but most of us don't need any more awareness. We're already feeling it. The real question is, what can we actually do about it? Well, every year since 1992, the Stress Management Society has been helping people tackle that very issue, each year with a different campaign. And this year, it's #BeTheChange. So in this episode, Sarah and I are talking about the work that they're doing and what this theme really means in practice. Because it's about flipping the script this year and taking ownership of what we can actually control. We'll share more about what work they do and also the 8 simple ways that you can start to be the change without adding any more pressure to your day. Now, let's get into it.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
She's very giggly. I'm warning you ahead of time. She's very giggly.
So when we are recording in the studio, we've got a camera set up, and so I can sync up the audio and the video, I have to do a clap, and I feel like I'm a cheerleader or I don't know, like, come on, let's go. It just makes me laugh.
Oh dear.
Just wanted to share a bit of behind the scenes
chaos. The other chaos, we've got Benny the dog in the studio with us, and I shuffled and I accidentally, I didn't stand on Benny the dog, but yes, it's been eventful. We haven't even started recording. Okay.
I mean the biggest thing, Tasman, should we come clean?
Go on then.
And say that, the episode that we recorded before, we forgot to hit record. So, all fun and games in the studio today.
Yeah. So we were supposed to record 3 episodes, but down to 2. Never mind. Anyway, look, Sarah, I mentioned in the previous episode that April is Stress Awareness Month.
Yes.
And I just wanted to give a little bit of background on that, and also what their campaign for 2026 is. I finding it really interesting. So every April since 1992, it's been led by the Stress Management Society. I think before that it was led by someone else, but Stress Management Society. And what they want to do is to really help people understand stress better, talk about it more openly, and actually manage it in a way that supports their well-being. And it's so beneficial. They've got this wonderful PDF, which I've put a link in the show notes. So everyone, please, I urge you, download it and really take on board what they're saying. Because this year, in particular, and actually I'm going to talk about that in a little while, but it's all about being really, taking ownership of your own stress. So, do you feel stressed often?
This is a good question, isn't it? It's a very good question. Do I feel stressed? So, I used to think that I was a quite calm person. Calm and collective. Collective? That's not what I mean. Calm and collected. I do like to collect, I suppose.
Told you she was giggly.
And I think largely I am, but I am quick to fluster, or I'm quick to stress about things. And that's something. So I've had therapy now for 3 years. And if you're in a position to have therapy, if you've got the money, if you've got the time, do it. Like, everyone benefits from therapy. But like, yeah, it did. I know this is a very long-winded answer to your question, but
I mean, I was expecting yes or no.
But yes, there is times where I get stressed, and it was quite interesting working with my therapist about what triggers stress in me and like what that means deeper down and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think at times, like anyone, things are stressful.
I think, and sometimes, you know, you think, oh, why did I get stressed about something so small? But it is working out what is the underlying issue.
Yes, because it's not normally the trigger or the last thing isn't normally the reason that you're stressed, is it?
No.
It's the undercurrent.
Yeah. So the Stress Management Society, they've got this mission to really help individuals and organisations, so it's not just for people, it's about places of work, to recognise and reduce stress, to foster healthier, happier and more resilient communities. And I think the more we are looking at the impact of communities and relationships and realising that actually this being a lone island and this individualism that has been part of the last maybe 10, 20 years has its negative impact, and one of those is increased stress. So they are looking at to educate people about the causes and the effects of stress.
Okay.
They are there to promote effective stress management techniques, to encourage open conversations, to reduce the stigma. I think, do you think people say, I'm stressed more easily, or I'm really busy, I'm exhausted more easily?
As in, people say they're stressed when they're not stressed. Is that what you mean? It's okay.
Okay, can I pause? Because I've not plugged it in.
That's absolutely fine. This is all editable. Oh, hang on. You won't be able to plug it down there because there's only 2 sockets. There's a socket down here. So pass me the plug.
What was the last thing you said?
Hang on. My brain can't multitask.
I can ask the question again.
So you've asked me, do I get stressed? And I answered that. And then you said about organising. Oh,
yes.
You said, so my thing was, so I last said, are you asking whether people say they're stressed when they're not really?
Okay. No.
Let me ask that question again. Yeah. Okay. So, Tasmin, are you asking, it's a good question, do you mean that when people say that they're stressed, they don't always mean that?
No, I think what I mean is, do people find it easier to admit that they are busy and tired than admit that they're stressed?
Probably. Yeah, I think so. Especially if... So something that I'm working on is my worth is directly connected to my productivity. So there's been times where I strive to be busy because the busier I am, the more worth that I have as an individual. I know that that's a bit skewed. And of course, in all this busyness, I don't always recognise that it's not just busy that I am, that actually I am stressed.
Yeah, and you know that's something that I've tussled with as well. I think also some people, it's not that they find it easier or harder, it's just the language that they're used to.
True.
And it seems as if there's a social acceptance to say I'm busy or I'm tired or I'm exhausted. But underneath there probably all cries for help, that actually there's something going on underneath the bonnet and we need to look at that.
I mean, so many times when I'm talking to people or having a catch up and actually, if I reflect, people don't say they're stressed. People just say, oh, life is busy, or life is full on, or I'm just exhausted. So, yes, I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
Well, I mean, it's Stress Management Society. None of this is my own work. This is me sharing what the good work that they're doing, and they do have lots of resources and support that will do this. So again, reminder that the link is in the show notes for it. But going on to the theme of 2026, it is #BeTheChange. So this is going to. These are their words, a powerful call for personal agency, action and transformation rooted in the principles, and I might not be able to say this properly, self-efficacy?
Oh, I have heard that word before. I can't help you out on this one. Efficacy.
Listeners are thinking, don't know why we should trust these two. Can't even say the words. I'm trying, everyone. I'm trying. That one. Neuroplasticity and relational connection.
Okay.
So I'm going to say, taking ownership, power of the mind, and power of relations. So it's not to say that there doesn't need to be changes outside your world. But often we wait for that outside world to change before we try to take ownership ourselves. So we wait for someone else to make the first move, someone else to stand up and step up, workplaces to change, others to be kinder, systems to improve, and the big one, stress to go away. Well, stress is never really going to go away, but all of those other things, I'm not saying that they shouldn't happen. But what this year is, what they're saying is that we have got more capacity and ability to make changes in ourselves than we probably realise. So that's true. That first. And those 3 pillars, I'm going to have to say that word again. So what they're saying is, number 1, you have more control than you think. Say it again.
Efficacy. I think that's how you say it.
That we have more power than we realise. So examples of this is how you respond to things, boundaries that you put in place, habits that you can form. The other pillar, neuroplasticity, is how small actions can rewire your brain. So this isn't about big changes, it's about what you do consistently and small shifts, because that's how our brain will work. That the small repeated actions is going to cause changes in our minds, in our brains. So it's not about doing one thing and never doing it again. And
so just to make sure that I'm following, so sort of creating a habit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the third pillar, which is the connection, is reminding us that we're not alone, that we've become very accustomed to individuals and how individuals approach success, but actually connection is one of the biggest buffers against stress. So it's building on, be the change on these 3 pillars.
I can definitely, I can see all them, and I can definitely see how they're going to help, especially, so when you said about you're not alone, I think, so when I was first starting in my career, my SEO journey, I thought I had to know everything. I thought, because I've been hired as the SEO specialist, I couldn't ask for help. I couldn't ask for support. And you can kind of see how that would lead to stress, because in SEO or in any life or work, things don't always go to plan. And I remember, it's going to sound lame, but the first time I realised that I could ask for support or ask for help or be in a community like the Women in Tech community, right? As soon as I realised that I can ask, there are other people, I don't have to do this all on my own. it's so empowering. And one of the reasons why I've created this podcast community as well, because lots of people want to start a podcast, and especially if you're doing something, a solo project, it can feel lonely and overwhelming when you're learning all this stuff for the first time. So I think community and asking for help, asking for support, and admitting when you're struggling is okay. And actually, as soon as you allow yourself that, it's really empowering, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know what? I wanted to do this episode because they're doing such great work, and these pillars that they're speaking about, well, the concept itself that they're speaking about, that, you know, start with you, be the change. And the 3 pillars of owning that, you know, taking control, using the power of your mind, and using the power of your network and relationships. They're things that are so easy to understand. And after the break, I'm going to take you through. So they've got 8 ways that you can #be the change, really simple ways. So it makes it doable. Because when you're in that place of stress, everything just feels, every problem feels bigger, every solution feels further and further away. But when you've got these very practical things that you can do, you're able to take control more.
Fabulous. Wow. Shall we pause and
let's do that. So pause, come back, and we will talk about the 8 ways that you can be the change.
Hashtag. Be the change.
You probably already recognise this voice, but Sarah here. Are you enjoying what me and Tasmin are doing and fancy supporting the podcast? Well, it just so happens that you can. Now, for the same price as a Starbucks, Costa, or your favourite coffee shop coffee, you can give us a one-off tip or a monthly donation. If you fancy doing that, follow the link in the show notes. Why not also help us share the podcast? Get the word out there. Share us with your friends, colleagues, family, anyone who you think would benefit from our podcast.
Hi, Tasmin here. Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Be more visible, earn more, but also take care of your well-being and have work-life harmony? Well, I can help you because I'm offering you a free 30-minute consultancy call. Together we can go through where you want to be and how to get there. Simply click on the link in the show notes, fill in a form, and I'll get back to you.
For part 2, be the change. Go on, Tasmin.
Be the
Sorry.
change.
I mean, we just had the debate. Are people even using hashtags anymore?
No.
Hard to keep up. So you're going to share with us practical, was it 8
Yes.
practical steps?
And these are the ones from the Stress Awareness Society. It's not me making, Stress Management Society. It's not me making it up. Okay, so number 1 is build a daily stress reduction habit. Pick one simple action that helps you reduce your stress. It could be a walk, it could be a pause before meetings. Setting boundaries and do it consistently. So this isn't about taking on loads, it's about taking on one thing regularly. What's your one thing, Sarah, that you could do every day to reduce your stress?
Sorry, my phone is shut down. Is that enough of me?
Yes. Your phone's saying, I'm going to clock out.
That's how my phone's dealing with stress, just shutting down. Not healthy, sorry. So my daily stress reduced habit, I've got to take Ben out a couple of times a day.
Yeah.
So something that I can be more intentional about, though, is maybe not taking my phone so that I'm distracted by work emails, messages, WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And also I don't have to be listening to something either. I can just be in the moment of walking with Benny the dog, because Benny the dog is quite entertaining to watch.
Well, Benny the dog's been very entertaining today because he's sharing podcast recording studio space with us, and every now and then, well, anyway, okay, right. So
did you get yourself a bit derailed there?
just a little bit. For me, my daily thing, which I do more often than not, but I want to become more intentional about it. So wake up, practice gratitude for a minute, and this isn't it's just small things. And I've talked about this before, being grateful for the fact that I'm waking up in a nice bed and I have warm running water and all of that good stuff. But for me, it's having a cup of tea first thing in the morning, just sitting.
Is this a breakfast tea?
Yorkshire.
Chamomile? Oh,
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire tea.
Brewed for 3 minutes. We have an egg timer by our kettle. But it's taking that time intentionally for myself. And it could be myself and Hussein. It doesn't have to just be me. But it's taking that pause, remembering that the day is for us or for me, not worrying about what work I need to do that day, what needs to get done, what's happening on social media, what's happening in the news. And that just sets me up. It fuels me rather than drains me, which, right now social media is a lot of stuff that drains me. So it's just taking that one thing. So that's step number 1, or one way. And you don't have to do all of these. So these are 8 examples. You can do as many or as little as you want. Number 2, reframe one limiting thought a day. So notice a thought that's holding you back or causing you stress and gently shift it into something more constructive. So for example, I can't handle this. And that's something that many people will say when they're in that moment of stress. You could reframe it to, I can take this one step at a time. Procrastination could be another one that might be causing you stress, saying, I can't do this, I'm no good at this. But if you break it down into little steps, saying, okay, I can take one step at a time.
Another one that you could do is, say someone else, so a work colleague, a friend, a partner has upset you. A way that you could reframe a thought is have empathy and thinking, why are they reacting that way? Especially if it's out of character.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if someone doesn't treat you very well or snaps at you or whatever they do, reframe it in a sense of, it's not personal, it's not to me. What's going on for them right now?
When I was growing up, my grandmother, other older generations would say, if I said, oh, blah, 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 do that thing to me, and they said, give them, I remember 40. My uncle was actually saying it's more like 70. But
70?
Make 70 excuses for them. You never get to 40 or 70, so the number's a bit nonsense anyway. But
70 million reasons.
Yeah. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe this. Maybe that. Maybe the other.
Maybe they just stubbed their toe.
Yeah. And by the time you get to about 5, you think, okay, whatever.
You're done.
And you're done. And that's not to let them off the hook. That's to let you off the hook.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's number 3?
Establish 3 small well-being habits. Choose a few micro habits that support you, like movement, reflection, breathing, and build them into your day. So small habits done consistently make a big difference. For me, journaling for sure. Walking around the lake. I'm going to have to say my cup of tea is my well-being habit as well. I don't know if it counts, but it does count to me.
So I'm going to say reading. So reading is really good for me because trying to get out of the habit of screens right before bed. So, and actually reading, it calms me. And so reading, especially before bed, even if I can only do a page, even if I can only do a paragraph, I'm reading.
Giving Hussein hugs.
That's a nice one. I'll put giving Tash a hug on my list. Giving Benny the dog. He does the best cuddles. But my third one would be, and this is really important, and I think we should all do this if we can, never work through lunch. Rest for lunch.
Yeah.
And especially now that I work from home, we have an air fryer now. I know we're a bit late to the party. But we finally have an air fryer. So, and I really enjoy cooking, and I enjoy that process of making something really tasty for myself, sitting down, might get my book out again, but giving yourself time to, so food doesn't just have to be a necessity, easy for me to say, but it can be an event in itself, can't it?
And also really creative, and lots of people
I'm very creative in my avocado on toast.
Yeah. Well, we can talk air fryers later. So that was number 3.
Yeah.
Number 4, connect meaningfully with someone each week. Now, we talked about this in our social health episode, which we did live with Jack.
Good egg, Jack.
So we can put a link into that in the show notes to that, and that talks you through a real detailed process of how to do it. But in this one, it's saying make time for one meaningful connection, conversation, check-in, moment of support each week. So that's
we've done ours because we had breakfast together.
We did,
and we made eating an event.
We did.
And what an event it was. You had your passion, what was it? Passion storm?
Yeah, passion storm smoothie with mushroom. The most decadent mushrooms on toast I've ever had came with like a velouté. We
treat you in Worcester.
We did.
No, what? Yeah. Anyway, number 5. We are number 5, aren't we?
Yeah. Practice presence in everyday moments. So bringing awareness into small moments of your day, meeting, breaks, transitions, and notice how you just noticing how you feel can change how you respond. She's jumping up and down. She clearly wants to say something.
Sorry, my brain. So there is a lovely exercise I'm going to do with you and our listeners for practicing being present. This isn't something from me as well. So there's a fabulous book called Solve, like solve an equation, Solve for Happy, Mo Garrett. Very apologetic if I've said that name incorrectly. But he shares a really lovely, mindful practice about being present. So, Tasmin and our listeners, what I want you to do is close your eyes. And I just want you to notice any thoughts, anything that comes into your brain, just wave them off. You're not interested. Just let them pass you by. I want you to empty your brain as much as you can. Now, don't do this right away, but I am going to ask you to open your eyes and I want you to focus on something. Yeah? I really want you to focus on something in the room and really take in detail. So after 3, open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, really notice. Really notice whatever you're looking at. What colour is it? What shape is it? Where is it? Really take in everything that you can about that thing that you're noticing. Close your eyes again. Explain, paint a picture for your brain. Whatever you just saw, paint it vividly. Really go into detail. Describe everything about it. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to do a deep inhale after 3. So inhale, 1, 2, 3. And as you exhale, open your eyes. Isn't that a lovely little exercise?
Do you have to prove to anyone?
No.
I was waiting for the test now, Tasmin. Because I was looking at the mic. Give me 10 features about the mic. That was a thought I had to keep brushing away. But isn't it strange? Like even in this mindfulness exercise, I'm thinking, oh no, how do I have to perform?
That's really interesting, isn't it? But that's a really nice exercise to do because you can do it anywhere and anytime. And it's just a good way of like grounding yourself and centering and being like, we're just in the present. Doesn't matter what happened in the past, what's going to happen in the future, what is happening right now.
The way, one of the ways that I practice this, and it aligns with what you said about going for a walk without listening to a podcast, because what we're trying to do, when you go for a walk, you are trying to de-stress, but then you're putting this pressure to learn something or be entertained or whatever. But just go out and notice what you see. So when I go past, around the lake, I try to be more noticeable of, the colours of the leaves, or which birds I can see, or what can I hear, what can I smell. And it just feels like a different experience. And I'm a spiritual being anyway, so then I just think of, oh, wow, being completely in awe of nature.
It is pretty spectacular.
Absolutely.
Number 6.
Ask yourself better questions.
Oh, okay.
What do I need right now?
Okay.
What can I influence today? Because sometimes our stress comes from other people. Why don't they just change? If they just did what I wanted them to do, life would be fine.
Yeah.
But sometimes we can't influence that, but we can influence ourselves. And better questions lead to better decisions.
Okay. I'm just trying to think. What do I need in this moment?
I mean,
It's a good thing to ponder.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very happy in this moment. But I'll give you an example. So I'm in Worcester today because I've come to spend time with my family in Birmingham. Now, my family include my uncle and my aunt that live in one house, and their daughter and her family that live in another. Currently, my aunt's away, so it was just my uncle. And my cousin was going to go away, and the choice was, do I go with her or do I stay at home with my uncle? And it was really asking myself, what do I need? And actually, I just wanted some quiet time. And it's quite sweet. We'll have breakfast together. And he was very worried. He said, are you going to be okay? And I said, look, you don't need to look after me. Absolutely, you don't need to look after me. So we meet for breakfast and we'll have a really deep and meaningful conversation. Then he goes off and does his thing and I do my thing. Then we'll do the same at lunch. And then again, he'll do his thing, I'll do my thing. Then we'll meet for dinner, we'll watch something together, and we'll say goodnight. And that's enough for me because it gives me time to catch up on work. It gives me time to go for walks. It gives me time to just be. Whereas if I'd gone with my cousin and their family, it would have been a different holiday. Lovely. It's not what I needed.
That's so true. I can relate to this as well because me and Tash have just had a week off together. And as we were discussing what we wanted to do, as much as we always like to get away, whether it's in the UK or abroad, I think where we both were, we just needed a week at home with no pressure, no work, nothing in the diary, just to give us time to breathe. And I mean, we did meet up with a wedding planner, which is quite exciting. But it's so important to ask yourself, what do you need in that moment? Because I could have made the assumption that Tash wanted to go away on holiday and we would have gone away on holiday and we would have had a lovely time, but we'd probably come back not really like feeling recharged or getting what we wanted to. So it's really important in relationships with friends, at work, but never sort of, I just said the word and the word's gone out my brain. Assume, never assume what that other person wants, or just ask questions. Ask better questions. Number 7.
Share your journey. So talk about what you're working on, because when we share, we create connection and we can also often inspire someone else too. And I can relate to this because I think with the world of coaching changing, and then me trying to mold what I did with what I thought people wanted from me. And it's a bit like that, for visibility and impressions here. I was thinking, what am I? Am I a confidence coach? Am I a career coach? And what am I? And I really had to take a step back and say, who are you? And what do you want to be? What impact do you want to have? And I just want to help people have better lives. Like, is that not enough? Is that not okay? I'm not a burnout coach. Yes, if you're burnt out, I'll help you. I'm not a career coach, but if you need help with your career, if that's what you need for alignment, I can help you with that. And I think when I started being more open about this with you, with some of my colleagues, I felt like the pressure was off. And now even now when I'm creating things online, when I'm creating these podcasts, I feel like actually I'm doing the work that makes sense to me, and I'm being open about it, and that reduces the stress.
By being open, transparent, and sharing.
And sharing.
And number 8, I think, is this the
so
last
it's the
one?
last one. And the last one is a repetition of what we said before. Use tools and resources available to you. Don't try and figure it out on your own. There are some great frameworks. There are some great examples. I mean, like if we talk about step 1 to 7 or ideas 1 to 7, they're all manageable and they're all going to make a difference. So the idea is... you don't have to figure it out on your own. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Use the resources. Again, link is in the show notes. And just take it from there, one step at a time.
Do you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I, just from having this conversation and having this framework and having these steps, it's definitely made me feel calmer, I think.
Yeah.
Because like you said, everything, all these steps that we've talked about, they're not massive. Like, they're really easy to do. Especially when you get into the habit of doing it as well.
Yeah. And I think, if organisations want to take this on board, I think there'd be ways that you could adapt these. So one daily stress reduction habit, it could be, like you said, everyone has to have lunch. Just stop for lunch. Reframing things. So that team's always late, blah, blah, blah.
Something that has just gone into my brain is reframing. So making sure that you're not putting toxic behaviour on a pedestal. So what I mean there is, one of my very first jobs, people used to brag about how much extra time they were doing. Even though they were only paid 9 to 5, people were like, I've been here since like 7:30 in the morning. I won't leave until 9 o'clock at night, or like, look how hard I'm working. And I think it's hard, but you've got to get culture right, because if that is the highlight and you're sort of, as an organisation, saying that is something to be proud of, like, that is only gonna make things worse, and stress, burnout, all of this stuff is going on. Whereas what you should be doing is like highlighting how you can sort of congratulate people when they're putting their self first, and how you can sort that out as a culture of like not bragging about working so much. There's other things. Does that make sense?
It does, but I think it's taking a step even further back. For an organisation who sees that type of behaviour, it's not about celebrating the opposite behaviour, because, to be honest, a lot of organisations won't do anything unless it actually impacts the bottom line. I'm sorry. Most organisations won't.
True.
But if a person is going to get to work at 7:30 and stay till 7:30, when are they resting? When are they recharging? When are they spending time with their family? When are they spending time socialising? Because all of those things are going to make that person more fulfilled, happier, more productive, and that's the thing that's going to help your organization. So if you are really proud that you have a team of people that never go home, sorry, but it's a short-term benefit.
Do you know what organisations need, Tasmin? So if you are listening and you're part of an organisation and you want to work on this, why don't you hire Tasmin?
Hire Tasmin. Or at the very least, download the show notes. I worked for an organisation where part of their team meeting was asking each person what were their energy levels like.
Ooh.
And it was, I don't know, between 1 and 10. And if somebody was feeling a bit low for whatever reason, you know, maybe they're a new parent and not having enough sleep, or something has happened in their family, the others would say, it's okay, I've got your back. And collectively, as long as collectively they helped each other. So that is, you know, practicing, what was the one, what number was it? About meaningful connection. You could have meaningful connection within the team.
Yeah, there's so many things that you could like easily instill in the workplace. I did see someone post on social media about in their organisation, I think it was like every last Friday, they only work half a day because the other half a day, they called it something like Wellbeing Friday or whatever it was. But everyone, the company shuts. And the idea is that you have that whole afternoon or it might have even been a day, but you do it to recharge, do whatever you need to do, sort of thing. So there's definitely things that you can implement. And maybe if you're a manager or you lead a team, maybe there's things that you can think about, like, because you might not be able to impact or make changes on a grand scale for the whole business, but there's going to be things that you can do in your team, right?
Yeah. But just taking a step back, I mean, and, you know, it's me reminding myself as well that the hashtag is be the change. And although we've been talking about things that organizations can do, if you're listening to this and you are somebody that is feeling stressed, do these for yourself. Don't wait for the organization to do it.
The biggest thing, there was a crazy stat about how many workers don't use their full holiday.
That's mad.
I can't remember what the stat was. It used to be instilled in my brain because I did it during my Brighton SEO talk. But something that you can do. So I did this something that I realised was that when I first started freelancing, I didn't really take a holiday because I was hustle, work. And I wanted that to change. So something that me and Tash intentionally did was at the beginning of this year or the end of last year, we sat down together and planned our holidays for that year, because that way it's in the diary and they can be moved if they need to be. Yeah. But once something is in your diary and you've put that time aside and you communicate with your clients, you communicate with your boss or your team or whoever needs to know, you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Sarah, I'm going to wrap this episode up with just a reminder to everyone, don't try and do it all. Just pick one thing, because stress isn't going to disappear overnight. It's these small intentional actions, and the change that you'll experience will just help you then take the next action and the next action. So I hope everyone's found this useful.
I have, so thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And yes, so as we wrap up, a reminder of what you can do if you enjoy what me and Tasmin are doing with the podcast. You can give us a one-off donation because there are costs involved in running this podcast. So there's a link in the show notes to do that. Costs as much as your favourite beverage from your favourite coffee shop. Big shout out to everyone who has done that already. And what's another way, Tasmin?
You could follow us on socials, and we're getting a little bit better at putting things out on social. And just, you know, reach out to us if there's an episode that you've enjoyed, if there's an episode that you really want us to record. We're really friendly. Find us on socials. Find us at Brighton. We'll both be at Brighton. And if you are at Brighton, then, you know, come to the live podcast. That'd be brilliant. And come and say hello, because we love it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, shall we say goodbye, take care of yourself, and until next time?
Goodbye, take care of yourselves, and until next time.